have Elizabeth here now with Here We Grow, and we've been lucky with a pretty mild winter, so the kids have been able to go outside quite a bit this season, and you guys are all about nature play where you work.
We are located in Mankato on 2 acres, and an entire acre is fenced in. Little kid hammocks, so you can see in the background. We take naps outside if it's warm enough, have picnics outside. We do, of course, have a building as well, but everything is about the outdoors for us.
And so what is so important about bringing kids outside?
Sure.
What's important about that?
Everything, especially nowadays with technology. Technology has its place, but there's so much research about sensory and things for kids, especially like running around barefoot in the grass has a lot to do with sensory input. Spending time in nature. The sun has a lot to do with the development of your eyes. So all of the eye problems we're seeing in kids, a lot of screens, not enough natural sunlight. There's something about the freedom of the outdoors where you can just do whatever you want. So we always say if kids are going a little crazy, you just take the walls away and go outside.
Yeah. And obviously there are the obvious choices of, like, basketballs, footballs, the playground, but there's so much more that kids can explore. So what are some ideas for parents to get creative? Yeah,
there's so much in our area. Minnesota is really, really fortunate. For $35 you can buy a state park pass and go to all of the state parks. Flandreau's in New Ulm. If you're visiting New Ulm, they have a pollinator park down by the river as well that you can walk through. That was started in 2016. Here in Mankato, there's a Red Jacket Trail, but if that's not your thing, you need to find what works for your family. Maybe it's just going for walks in your neighborhood, or saying, hey, let's make a card of all the parks in our town and see how many we can hit up this year.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
And so how, just a question, how have you seen much change in children, when they first come to you, and then you allow them to go outside and play? Have you seen changes in children?
One of my favorite parts about our story is I had worked in other settings and I saw a lot of what people refer to as behaviors. And when kids come to our setting, I'm not saying it's the cure-all for everything, but they're not doing things like throwing chairs or other things, because it's really not appropriate for children to just be in these small spaces. They need the freedom to explore and play and use their imagination versus sitting down and doing a worksheet or doing things that are really not appropriate for them.
Figuring things out for themselves.
I mean, our kids play with tires, old tires.
Yes.
And they stack them up and pretend to be Oscar the Grouch. And
cool. And these are some other examples of things that people could have.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive. I think so much of our society is, what do you have? Do you have the Patagonia? Not that there's anything wrong with that coat, but you don't have to do that.
Right.
You can plant seeds. These are 60 cents at Menards.
Oh, yeah.
These buckets are $6 at Fleet Farm. Our kids actually stand on them and they don't break. If you're really interested in going outside in all weather, these suits are from Oki Wear. I haven't looked at the price in a while because they've lasted for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So really durable. Sometimes we put them on over snowsuits. These are just grain shovels for cattle, also super durable. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can just literally walk through Fleet Farm or somewhere with your kids and let them pick out stuff and see what they do with it.
Yeah, I think even, the seeds are really fascinating to me, because really you can teach them so much, but also it's for yourself too. It's like, you get to show them the entire process of growing. It's so cool.
Yeah, one of my favorite memories as a kiddo, when we very first opened, and he came out and he goes, Miss Beth, someone hung tomatoes on this tree while we were sleeping, because he never knew where they came from. And I'm like, yeah, but they grow. And he thought it was a tomato Christmas tree.
Oh, isn't that cool?
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, let's remind people where you're located again.
Sure, we're on 3rd Avenue in Mankato. We also have playgroups for families who stay at home with their children as well.
Great. Thanks so much for being here today. We'll have more when we come back on Cato Living.